Hello, everybody. Welcome to the last regular episode of 2023, episode 153 of Dissonant Waves.
And also, happy birthday, Domino.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you. You're a
Happy
domino. Fuck. Happy
birthday. We can't really sing the song because it's copyrighted.
No, it's not.
Copyright. It's not
Oh
anymore,
yeah, that's
baby.
right. It left copyright.
It's been like 5 or 6 years since it left copyright.
Mm-hmm.
It's so ubiquitous, it doesn't matter. But yes, thank you. This is recorded on my birthday. It is after midnight. It's after 1 a.m. here, so yes, it is on my birthday. But yes.
I shit my pants on Dominic's birthday.
Excellent. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yes.
And who else is shitting our pants with us?
I unfortunately am not shitting my pants.
Try harder.
I'm coming straight from the Good Things Festival. Well, not straight from it, but a couple hours away from it, with some fun stories of evacuation that I've told these two.
Yes.
Long story short, apparently when Fall Out Boy comes to Sydney, it just does not cause anything good, because you want to know when the last time that they planned to come to Sydney was?
COVID?
That's right. Yeah, that's right, baby.
Kind of a freebie.
Yeah, stop getting Fall Out Boy in this state. It's not working out well for us.
No more Fall Out Boy for anybody.
I saw this great story on my Facebook feed. I'm certain she's taking the piss. But it was this girl on my Facebook feed. And she had like eyeliner just kind of running down, and it's a very close up. It looked like she was crying, kind of thing. And it was Fall Out Boy just cancelled, and I had to walk an hour in the rain.
Some high hopes for the living.
Yep.
Anyway,
and I'll post it in this gun, but I'm obviously not going to make it fucking public. But it is funny.
Yes. I also just Whamageddon Trix.
Yes. Every year I partake in Whamageddon, which is where I try not to hear the song "Last Christmas" by Wang, until Wham, until Christmas Day.
So I was a bit exaggerating about the eyeliner, by the way, but like you can kind of get what I'm meaning by it.
Oh.
You posted it earlier, didn't you?
Did I post it in this one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. Okay, well, that's not a problem. We won't have a double in there. But like, I can guarantee you
in the chat.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this person who I'm obviously the chance that they're not going to publicize this photo. I'm pretty sure they're taking the piss, but there would be like thousands of other people right there who would just be very fucking similar in an actual serious way. There was a lot of devastation about Fall Out Boy only playing 3 songs.
I can only hope the Spanish Love Songs concert I'm going to will be better.
I can tell you safely, 1, that's indoors, I'm pretty sure, so you're fine.
Yeah.
And 2, like, the Spanish Love Songs is probably one of that is definitely a good idea to get tickets to that. I know that's like Hot Mulligan's the actual main act, isn't it?
I'm there to see Spanish Love Songs, but yes.
I mean, you get to see a Hot Mulligan show as well, and that's not going to be bad.
Ben Quad's also there, so...
Yeah, Ben Quad as well, sorry. And Heart Attack Man, is that playing as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the dream lineup, full stop. I can tell you safely, the important part, having seen Spanish Love Songs this year, I haven't considered what my favorite of the year is, so maybe I can get out there, but I'm just saying this in general. Definitely one of the gigs of the year was seeing Spanish Love Songs. So that would be a very good time.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
But we have a number of albums and things to talk about this week.
Yes.
From Trix, we have King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards, PetroDragonic Apocalypse or the Dawn of the Eternal Night, and Annihilation of Planet Earth and Beginning of Merciless Damnation. From Ritz, we have Death Do Us Apart, Outside is Colder Than It Looks EP, Awake But Still in Bed's Chaos Takes the Wheel and I Am a Passenger, and Wallsocket by Underscores. And I have taken the liberty of exploring the Beach Boys with the Smiley Smile album / the Brian Wilson Smile album, the infamous unfinished album that has been popping up here and there in different ways.
Yes.
So we're doing the usual thing of putting Trix right on the spot.
All
Your
right.
hot take. Your hot take. Come on. What is it?
Okay. What's the name of the album? It was one of Ritz's picks. Let me pull it up. Sorry, I'm bad at names.
Yeah,
Wallsockets underscore is my favorite of this week.
Oh,
underscores.
No, that's not a hot.
That's not a hot take.
I intentionally picked that
it might
for you.
be.
I intentionally picked that, knowing. Come on, you posted so much during this year of the caffeine-addicted transgender test being 100 gex. I mean, this is not 100 gex, but this is a very similar crowd.
It scratches that itch. Like this might be in my top 5 of the year.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ritz, you somehow do the thing every year, or the last couple episodes, you bring the bangers.
Yep. Yes, this is fucking peak gaslight gatekeep girl boss music, and I fucking love it.
I mean, we might as well just start with this. So
yeah, so big reason I picked this, I said the last week, we're going to catch up and finish off on the important fifth wave emo. And by important, I mean at the very, very start of this cycle, Stomach Book announced a collaboration called Death Do Us Apart. Stomach Book then left that collaboration, but the album or EP got released, so I chose Death Do Us Apart. Another big album that got released this year was Awake But Still in Bed. That is an artist that we obviously covered. I think last year did we cover them? Was it this year? It was.
Awake But Still in Bed was last year.
Yeah, it was last year. Obviously, there are a lot of artists in the fifth wave scene who consider. I mean, I think it's Brandon McDonald considers Awake But Still in Bed's what people call low self-esteem is really just seeing yourself the way that other people see you as like the start of fifth wave. You know, obviously the stuff there in there, but it's considered like the first fifth wave to her. So I picked Awake But Still in Bed as that's a very important artist to pick, and we're going to continue it. But then this one, which is not fifth wave emo, I've picked because one, I like the album, and two, doing the live stream Homer's Where did Tilly specifically said that one of the most important albums of like the past decade was Underscore's Fishmonger.
I'm down to check that out because holy shit, this album's great.
Yeah, it's an album I've heard of, but yeah. But I got recommended this one a bit ago. I'm not gonna lie and say that I discovered Underscores on myself. There was some people I know of who've gotten into this way before I did. Yeah, and I mean there are songs on here which are like going to be some of my favorites of the year. I think I've listened to Locals like just constantly over the past month.
Oh god, yeah.
I'm not even a girl like them, but I will act like one.
It's rare the album where I listen to a song and I automatically go to somebody like you should listen to this. Yeah. I heard Old Money Bitch and I recommended it to a friend and I got scared because he responded just by a flat statement saying, "I'm an old money bitch." I'm like, oh no, did I fuck up? But it was fine.
Yes.
And they like the song.
Yes. It's the thing of, how do you tell what a good album is? And I think one of the hallmarks you can tell of what a good album is there variety in the songs? Is there a consistent quality? Do you like most of the tracks?
That is a very basic way of saying is it a good album, but yes.
It's a hallmark.
It is true. Yeah, it is it might be basic, but it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And most of these tracks, if not all of them, have stuff that is very interesting, and I like them. Like,
yeah, this is a phenomenal album.
Like my least favorite might just be Cops and Robbers because it's a little slower than the rest, and it's the one that gets it going.
Cops and Robbers does indeed fuck. The chorus of when was the last time you saw a gun in a ski mask?
And like and that's just like the selecting targets, right? It's not like, oh my god, it's so much worse. It's just the one that pops to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really loved the intro to Locals with the fucking wall of sound of voices.
Machinery, catharsism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Parking garage. Arms, body,
into
legs, flesh, skin, bones, good luck.
Yep.
That's a big sample that goes around as well as that good luck. That appears constantly on this album.
Yeah.
It reminded me of an Adam Freeland album we haven't covered yet. There's a song that kind of has that kind of repetitious, clubby feel to it. It's probably nothing really like this, but it just reminded me of it. It's oh my god.
I mean, even the makeshift rap verse in there as well actually just flows so well in the song. It doesn't feel like, oh, we just added a rapper to it. It's actually just a nice continuation.
It fits.
Which is good. Yeah.
I think it was Locals that got me interested. I think it was Duh where I fell in love.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm.
And like, this album was so good at just switching it up. You don't even know who I am, being like this lower, tenderer kind of stalker song.
There's a whole through line of stalking in this album.
Stalking, observations of people, predator shit.
Like with Johnny is such a fucking like a creepy thing to hear the lyrics in.
Yeah,
the song itself is not creepy. Instrumentally, anything, it's one of the more boppier songs in this. But I'll get the fucking lyrics after it, which I should fucking have planned.
It's about a groomer, basically.
Johnny, wolves, Johnny, wolves, Johnny.
Sorry, what did he say, Trix?
It's basically about a groomer.
Yeah.
I remember the lyric particularly. When he was 11, I wasn't even born yet, or something like that.
Yeah. I think this is like the equivalent of like every year almost we have that album. We have the Bigger Boot. We have the Stomach Book.
Yeah.
Where, at least for me, it just fucking hits me in the face of like, oh my god, this is fantastic. Who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I think in this case, surprisingly, like with Bigger Boot and Stomach Book, when we covered them, Stomach Book's obviously gotten a bit more recognition over the time. Bigger Boot's still a bit stuck, unfortunately, but hopefully. This one's a lot more getting that recognition. Compared to the other two.
Is it fair to call it, I don't know, slightly more approachable 100 gecs hyperpop?
I think
it's
in a sake. I think the actual sound of it is different. I wouldn't say this is 100 gecs, but it is definitely the same kind of vibe. It's the same type of scene. I mean, you get a lot of the same fans because it has. I think Fishmonger goes into a bit more. It has some of that kind of experimental hyperpop in it, but it's not in that same sake. So it is. It's crossover fan bases.
Yeah, I could see this being a good stepping stone into getting into 100 gecs if you're unfamiliar with the genre completely.
Like, my friends think I'm weird because I listen to stuff like 100 gecs, but I think if I showed them this, they might get it a little bit.
I think it's a bit basic to go, oh, you listen to 100 gecs, you're weird. No, we're weird for listening to We Will Look Back at You and Love You Forever.
Yeah. We're weird.
No, we're past the 100 gecs weirdness. We got past that a while ago.
Yeah,
we listen to Rick and Morty samples now.
Year 2, I think, is when we started going off the deep end.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm not going to show my friends We Will Look Back at You and Love You Forever necessarily, like, unless they're ready for it.
Yeah.
I would honestly
go
call
ahead, Ritz.
Weirder than 100 gecs.
Yeah. But
and that's for the more accessible artists as well, is the crazy thing.
Yeah. But we're not gatekeeping music, I'd like to say, when we're saying when they're ready for it. It's legitimately a case of you need to be warmed up for this.
Yeah, my friends, I love them, but I'm gonna play something like We Found a Body at Penn Island. They're not going to like. It's not gonna make sense. It's just gonna be like, this is a fucking Pickle Rick sample with some weird fucking distortion guitar. What the fuck is this? This isn't music.
No, you don't get it. It is. It's a subversion of the genre.
And it's more just like, I don't even fucking care anymore. I just think it sounds neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing is like I think all of this podcasting shit has like broken my brain in a way where my expectations for music are so basic and so simple. I'm just happy with whatever I like that sounds good.
It's kind of freeing in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're 153 episodes. We're about 32 minisodes. We're close to 200 overall recordings. We've been
Yeah,
doing this for a while now,
yeah, over 4 years.
which is fucking crazy.
It is.
And it's like I kind of like doing it just for just kind of going down those rabbit holes and just kind of like accepting music and accepting artists and being available to. This almost feels like, you know, we've been down the rabbit hole of fifth wave in a way for so long this year. This feels like, oh my god, this is just like, this is mainstream now. Wallsocket, and I mean that in a like, this feels more accessible in a way. Half the shit we've listened to recently has not.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fun thing about comparing this to 100 Gex as well, or just the scenes as well. I mean, this scene's like fucking feasting this year because we've got not only a good Underscores album, but a good 100 Gex album as well in the earlier. And then Jane Remover also put out an album that's been received pretty well. I think the funniest shit is knowing that Hideo Kojima like spends most of his time now just listening to hyperpop and then posting it on Twitter.
That is fantastic. I love
that is also. Yes.
I mean, God. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hold on. I need to imagine.
Imagine an Underscore song in the next like Death Stranding or something.
Well, I was about to say that, but you gotta remember, Low Roar scored Death Stranding. Like that was like the band. If he's listening to hyperpop now, imagine 100 Gex, Death Stranding 2.
Well, he's always been very much into synth pop. Like it's not obviously all he does, but I think in 2018 he gave his album of the year to Church's Love Is Dead.
But like in the way that Health kind of blew up doing songs for like Max Payne and like Grand Theft Auto 5 and stuff. Oh god, if Kojima just embraced 100 Gex or even Underscores, that'd be fucking amazing.
It would.
I'm trying to find the post. I'll see if I can find it. But I'm pretty sure he would be well aware.
Imagine the fucking like ridiculous Metal Gear Rising Revengeance shit he'd come up with based around hyperpop. And I know Revengeance wasn't Kojima; it was like the one Metal Gear game to not have Kojima. But
I mean, there were several Metal Gear games not to really have Kojima, but yes, the main one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have not played much in the Metal Gear franchise. I will admit.
Sure. I mean, he's very much calling it only DS2. You know, he's not even calling it Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
That can mean so many things.
No. So you're
he's remaking Dark Souls 2.
Sure. So you're wondering if Hideo Kojima was across Underscores?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Just you fucking right. I promise you will not see a better picture today.
Oh boy.
Okay, I'm excited.
That is Hideo Kojima's Spotify Wrapped.
It's fucking Underscores.
Hell yeah.
Holy shit.
You are a top 0.001% fan and you spent 150,015 minutes to get up.
God.
Shit.
Holy shit.
I think Hideo Kojima's across them.
I am only so excited about what that could mean.
Oh my god.
Spotify Wrapped is good for something after all.
Yeah.
It's Hideo Kojima wakes up. It's time to listen to Underscores.
Can't blame him. Spotify Wrapped is truly one of the best things that the music industry has created in terms of like checking in on your insane friends, if that makes any sense at all.
Is this just his like? What is this? Is this real?
It might be. Probably not, but it's funny.
No, this can't be real. A real account, but it'd be very funny if it was.
Nah, I'm pretty sure it's a fake, but it's funny.
Oh, you had me going there. But it is very funny that that's exactly the artist that is mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
This album fucks.
this is a fantastic album.
Yeah, I do a little pandering.
Every year you get me. Every year.
What did I
Yeah.
pick last year around this time? I don't know.
Proper.
You know what, I'm gonna go through it. Yeah, I'm gonna go just before you say it all. I'm gonna go through every last pick I've done. So in 2019, it looks like November 24th was the last time we did it. I did Infest the Rat's Nest, which I think only Trix has come around to, so that one doesn't count.
I have really come around to Infest the Rat's Nest.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That was an important pick nonetheless.
Yes.
Yes. Last one was 2020 was the last one I took was Silverchair, but that one's the Mickey Mouse year because I moved and that took me out for the rest of the year. So we'll go from 2021, I guess is where this really goes in. And that one, the last pick I seem to have done. Oh, I think I abstained for a bit because we're having a big one, but the last one I would have picked there would have been. It would have been Misery Chord. And yeah, it would have been Misery Chord, but Lucy Dacus I did pick, which did fuck up your top 20 songs, so that one counts.
Yeah.
Here we go. Last one for. Oh yeah, well last year that absolutely screwed you because I picked Tism.
Well, not only did you pick Tism, but like before that you picked the Wombats, Thumb Plum, Never Erased. The week before that,
Speed.
week before that you did Proper and Downs.
Yeah, that was funny.
I think a lot of that ended up being in my top something or other. So you really know how to pick them when the November time comes around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also I guess Mouse is also in there for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mouse is really fucking good. Trix got it this last week with Chumbawamba, but
yeah, but Mouse is phenomenal.
I
think I made Mouse. I think I made Mouse my number one.
Also, if I can have a moment to address my thoughts about Geese, and now that I've actually made notes about it,
yep,
I was wrong. It is not just a comedy act. There is a legitimate like 70s throwback band in there doing blues rock and everything.
Thank you. Your apology is accepted.
It is still not my favorite of the week by any means, but I do appreciate it a lot more.
Good man. You are now invited back to my birthday party.
It's my birthday party, bitch. Fuck off.
Yes.
You're now invited back to your own birthday party.
Just for that, we're listening to Chumbawamba again.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I get knocked down, and I'll get up again, because they keep playing Chumbawamba.
But yes, Wallsocket.
Yeah. Very chaotic album. It's just really danceable as well. Was the fun part about it. Like it's chaotic in such a fun way. It's not like we've listened to a lot of chaotic in such a very depressing or just absolute what the fuck way. This is just really fun.
Yeah.
It is the most fun. Go ahead.
I will say I was listening to this on my walk home from getting coffee, and it really does hit the niche of caffeine addicted transgender because I was fucking vibing while just sipping a tall coffee.
When she said Johnny whoops, is that when you shit your pants?
Around there actually, yeah.
Trix, I gotta ask you a question.
Yes.
Are girls like you rotten to the core?
Would the girls like you what?
Are girls like you rotten to the core?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's only because she's an old money bitch.
The masses.
Mm-hmm.
Fun thing about locals as well, because you know how it has that very staticky kind of sound that goes with the notes?
Yeah.
Some of the choruses. Apparently, because of how vinyl works, you couldn't get that, so there's an alternate version on the vinyl.
Ooh.
Oh, sweet. I'm gonna have to get the vinyl of this one.
Oh, I just also want to. I mean, yeah, I think that this definitely deserves a lot of attention. And get the vinyl, get the CD, get what you get it.
Get a tattoo of the album art on my thigh.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, even the lyrics are really interesting and like poignant.
Yes.
Like, shoot to kill your darlings being about kind of like observing and like understanding like war obsessed, violence obsessed men. It was super interesting to hear about, and just like I thought this way for a long time, and while I still mostly feel this way, I did go to the gun range, and I kind of understand a little bit now.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Favorites, least favorites. I think
no least favorites.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I don't think that it's not a 10 out of 10 album or anything, but I just don't have any least favorites.
And favorites is just like the first all of this album.
Okay, it's probably a 10 for Trix, I feel though.
It might be a 10 for me.
At least favorites, Cops and Robbers, just because there has to be one sometimes. I don't know what it is. Some albums there's just is a least favorite.
I do have a least favorite, but we'll go on it.
But my favorites, oh god, I think Locals, Duh, Old Money Bitch, Jeez Louise. Those are probably the top 4.
I think my least favorite, and I apologize for it because it's not a bad song, but I just think its slower pace is done better in some other songs like Good Luck Final Girl, is You Don't Even Know Who I Am. I do like the sample work, I do like it, but I just think, kind of thinking about it in the album, and I think it's actually my least favorite moment.
What is that sample from?
I don't know. There's always tomorrow to check it out. Favorites, I like Cops and Robbers. I think it's a good intro. I think it's a catchy song. Love Locals. That's 100% going to be high up in my Song of the Year list. Johnny Johnny is up there as well. That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah. What was the song in 10,000 Gex that I really liked?
I'm going crazy. Tiny little Hollywood baby.
It was Billy Knows Jamie.
Yeah.
Also about gun violence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we really kicked it off with a banger.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going. Let's talk about King Gizzard.
This might have entered my. It's definitely entered my top 10 favorite King Gizzard albums. But it might have entered my top 5
of the year of King Gizzard.
Of King Gizzard albums.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you pick the album you expect to be album of the week, and then I just fucked you?
No, I honestly didn't expect PetroDragonic to be album of the week. I kind of expected Beach Boys to pull it out.
Yeah, well, I can say that's not gonna happen.
That is fine, because this is the second King Gizzard album that I legitimately love.
The funny thing is that this is a fucking continuation of Infest the Rat's Nest, you dog cunt dog.
Indeed.
It feels like an evolution of Infest the Rat's Nest.
Yeah,
if I might put on my metal nerd hat, I heard a lot of Iron Maiden influences in like Converge, and then when you get into Gila Monster, it's just a fucking mid 2000s like The Sword or Mastodon track, and it fucks hard.
And then when you get to the end of Flamethrower, you get techno, baby.
Yeah.
Just like the chorus of like Supercell is so much fucking fun.
Yeah. Motor Spirit, I feel like, is an homage to Motorhead.
And
yeah, fair.
It's about a fucking dragon, and it's still really fucking good.
Yeah. As I was listening to it in the fog on my walk, I realized that King Gizzard would absolutely crush a new Mad Max soundtrack, but it'll probably never happen.
I mean, if they did like a game, like the sequel to the game, that'd be interesting. I just think Junkie XL is so integral. I wonder if he's even doing Furiosa.
Yeah.
I'm currently looking at my my album of the year list that I have. It's not finalized by any means, so don't ask me to go where anything is ranked, because there's so much fucking change. But I'm just looking at what is currently taking 1 to 20, and I'm just fucking heartbroken, because it's like, I'm looking at it, and there's all these other albums I haven't ranked yet. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, I have been waiting to rank because I know there's gonna be so much shit. And yes, Junkie XL is back for Furiosa. Very excited for that.
Yes. I am so excited for Furiosa.
Oh, we should just do that movie next year. That'd be so fun.
Oh, hell yeah. I still need to watch the black and chrome version of Fury Road.
You too. That's what I mean. We just do that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So Trix, you didn't really introduce the album so much.
It's King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. It's their second thrash metal album. It goes harder than Infest the Rat's Nest in some points, but not quite as hard at some other points. It's a little weirder than Infest the Rat's Nest, and it's just a good album.
See, I feel like it's like you have to compare it to Infest the Rat's Nest. That's just the one you have to compare it to.
You have to.
I personally enjoy Infest the Rat's Nest a lot more still. I think that one was a very dedicated thrash stoner experience. It had this whole story about Earth burning up and everybody leaving. And the rich go to Mars and the poor go to Venus, and then Venus burn up. The people on there burn up and are basically in hell. It's such a fun fucking story for what is still about some very bleak, serious topics, specifically climate change. If you're not fucking getting the metaphor yet.
Oh my god!
And corporations owning everything.
Which also hit harder because the album that is considered to be the companion album to it, and I'm pretty sure if you actually line up the album art, they do kind of match up in a way. I could be wrong about that, but I think I think the smoke from on there somewhat, I could be wrong, is Fishing for Fishies, which is in a very similar way. That talks about conservation as well, and evolution, and not evolution, sorry, environmentalism.
Fishing for Fishies album art is a different art style, so it doesn't exactly line up.
Nah, but I thought there was like a very similar kind of thing. I could be wrong. Might be thinking of something else. Either way, that was considered to be the companion album, which is such a compare it to Depart and Return.
Yeah.
From Origami Angel. It's both fucking sides of the spectrum, and then that was just like, okay, this comes out, and everything is just so fucking good off that album.
It's also kind of worth noting that King Gizz has released 9 albums, studio albums at least, during our entire podcast run.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we've only covered like 3 or 4 of the new ones.
We haven't covered KG or LW, have we?
And I don't think we will. I won't at least.
We will.
Not for a while, but there's some great moments of those albums. Like Intrasport is one of their best songs. I will die on that fucking hill with a lot of other people because that's just such a fucking. It's oddly a house banger.
This is our 9th coverage of King Gizzard.
Yeah,
our 9th album
we covered. We covered Butterfly 3000.
Yes,
we didn't cover Timeline, did we?
We didn't cover. Yeah, we didn't do that. We didn't do 3001.
We did Omni and Gatherum, which I think was your favorite, like your first time that you got into King Gizz.
Yes. Here. Yes. We did Nonagon Affinity first.
Yes.
Then we did Infest the Rat's Nest. Then we did the Spectacular, where we did Flying Microtonal, Polygon 1LN, and Chunky Shrapnel.
Yes.
Then we did Live in Sydney 21, Butterfly 3000, Omni and Gatherum, and now we're here.
We haven't done one of my favorites yet.
Which one is that?
Pull that out. Murder of the Universe.
Oh yeah, I never planned to pick that one, so that's on you.
I will probably pick that one. That's actually like my second favorite King Gizz album. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's one of those ones where I feel it's a very contentious in the base. Not that people say, "Oh, if you hate it, you're wrong," kind of thing. But it's like it's either like you really like it or you're just really not into it, and that's it's unfortunately for me.
My goal is
the biscotti of King Gizzard.
Especially once we finish up Montreal, I do want to go through King Gizzard completely.
All right.
Well, we've only got a couple of albums to go through. Let's see.
Yeah. They have 24 studio, I want to say.
You know how close I was this year to picking Live at Red Rocks 22?
Oh,
Damn.
probably incredibly quick.
I
I
was
mean,
very...
Quarters is a big one to get to. Paper Mache Dream Balloon. Those are like some very old ones that are just popular and considered some of their breakout albums.
I'm in your mind, Fuzz.
Yeah, I'm in Your Mind Fuzz is probably actually their breakout.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have gone to the Chicago one, and they would have been recording that one there, but I didn't go.
You should have gone.
Should have gone.
Yeah, no, this is fucking great. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just, you know,
Stockholm Syndrome.
sometimes you need to take some steps downward to descend to get used to it. You know, the frog in the pot boiling, more or less.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I can hear If That's the Rat's Nest and Nothing on Infinity, and they're just not my King Gizzard albums. They're just, even now, I don't have a super interest in going back to them.
Nonagon is my favorite King Gizzard album.
Yeah, I think Nonagon and Infestor Rat's Nest are in a constant like fight, but I think it's Infestor Rat's Nest still.
The challenge for me is going to be, if we do an older one, will it magically click for me, or will I still feel distant from it?
Yeah, that is a good question.
Because I mean, in a sense, it's like talking like Petite League there, where I've grown accustomed to some songs off early Petite League albums, but the albums in full still don't interest me as much as their newer ones do.
Yeah, it wasn't until Joyrider that you started liking everything.
Yeah.
Which, hey, they're Petite League's releasing a song a month this year. At least the last part of the year. It's been fun.
Yeah, and in January we're gonna get a new album.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's why he's releasing all these singles.
Oh. God, there's so much
So
shit
one of
coming
them
in
is
January.
one of them is admitted to be a B-side. So is it the B-sides album or?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Oh,
he's been teasing that B-sides album for a while now.
Or is this like all the other stuff, and then the B-sides album is just, you know, the actual thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, but Sugar Hotel goes fucking hard. So sweet, like a kick in the teeth.
So this is not only the only King Gizzard album they put out this year as well. There's another one that came out a couple weeks ago, end of October. The Silver Chord, which goes for a lot fucking longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one has extended versions too.
And that one's more closer to a Butterfly 3000. They've gone to the point is now as well where they've created so much music. Every time that they release a new album, they're compared to themselves. But it's not like, it is not like how anyone else gets compared to themselves. Every other time, it's, you know, we've been talking about the Beach Boys temporarily here. With Smile, it's people going like, oh, this doesn't sound like Pet sounds. You know, like that.
Mm-hmm.
But with King Gizzard, it's basically being compared to themselves as if it was another artist.
Yeah.
That's just impressive.
It is.
Do you know that the gap between Omnium Gatherum and PetroDragonic is our longest gap of not covering them?
Yeah.
Wow. How
it was our first time. It's our first time covering them this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was episode 98.
In
98.
fact, Dominic,
actually,
didn't you pick Omnium Gatherum as well?
Yes, I did. However, I did forget that we also, for 99, we did Satanic Slumber Party, which technically counts.
I'm going to say for this, we're going to consider just straight up King Gizzard. Satanic Slumber Party is more Tropical Fuckstorm.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But
yes, but that also means I haven't picked King Gizzard since Butterfly 3000, have I?
You have.
That would be correct.
Wow. I did not expect that. Everyone's got to pick a King Gizzard album a year.
We could. We very well could.
Yeah.
Good.
We already
I mean,
blew
yeah,
doing the focused episode 40. So
Yeah.
This is a really good Gizzard album. It is very. I mean, it's very expected at this moment. I don't think there's anything in here, in just the concept of the album existing that really shocks. I think the most like the moment I can say like I went holy shit they're doing this now is when it suddenly went techno and flamethrower. But
Yeah.
despite that, we still get some really well written, some really. I think Motor Spirit's got one of the fucking funniest style lyrics on this. Give me a second. It is. Fucking where is it? God damn it! Something about
While you find that, I will mention that one of my favorite things about this album is the guitar solos.
yeah, they're pretty good.
Holy shit! I have not heard guitar solos like this in like a decade.
Oh, this is the thing I wanted to say is that you remember when you did Megadeth?
Yeah,
This is what Megadeth should have been.
I agree.
Like
I love Megadeth, but this is phenomenal.
like hearing like knowing that Megadeth is like this big deal and that Rust in Peace is like such a landmark album. I was expecting this level of quality.
I totally get you, and I'll be honest. Infest the Rat's Nest is my barometer for thrash now, or like my like fucking point of reference where it's got to be this good. So I've become a thrash snob.
you know what the easiest way to fucking find the lyric I was specifically
It's just
going
Google
about?
the specific legal lyric.
Just go to Bandcamp
no,
and
no,
look
no.
at it.
I know, but I'm doing it the better way. It would have been said specifically on the fucking date that this album came out on. Give me an hour, I will be done.
Engine
Okay.
Gaia, hissed and wheeze, the Messiah on their knees, beg the wind, beg the tree, beg the bug for mercy.
Fucking blah. Holy shit. This album fucks hard.
Oh yeah, you also know what else came out this fucking year? This day.
What? Oh yeah, this is
June
the
16th.
yeah, this is the day of Brightest Days and fucking the Whaler.
Yeah.
What a day in music.
That's kind of it was drink the piss and smoke your meth. That was the lyric I was fucking trying to find.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah.
Because I am a free American. I will do as I please.
I actually put together the list of everything this year we've listened to in date order. I can post
That's
that
cool.
if you'd like.
Wow.
Yeah.
It'll probably be too big for one post, so I will break it up.
All right.
We also surprisingly did get singles for this album as well. I believe Dragon and Guillaume Monster were the singles.
Yep.
Part one.
Favorite of this is fucking Flamethrower though. Just having that ending and it, when basically I feel like this problem's big sufferer is with a lot of King Gizz albums in which you only usually get as much variety as you do, and I think this is one of the most varied for the sound anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Getting that fucking switch up just fucking worked, and it's one of the best moments on this album.
Yeah.
So Flamethrower is easily my favorite of this.
There we go. That's everything.
That's incredible.
We started with December last year stuff with Hunter Gex's Snake Eyes, and we've gone all the way now to We Will Back You and Love You Forever, self-titled.
Yep.
But so we're talking favorites and least favorites. I mean, God, this is one I'm going to say no least favorites. I think if I'm talking about favorites though, probably let's say Supercell and Dragon and Flamethrower.
Favorite is Flamethrower. I think my least favorite is probably Converge.
Favorites: Supercell, Gila Monster, and Dragon. No least favorites.
All right, let us move on now to. Let's talk about Death Do Us Apart.
So this is my pick. I picked this because I think this is very, very early in the cycle. I think this is basically as we were still recording last year. I think this is mentioned I'm going to see if I can even find it when this is first mentioned in here, but I'll find it as I'm talking. Yeah, so this was originally. I've actually just found it. It was on the 11th of December that this was first mentioned here. So we might have just finished recording, basically.
Yeah.
And it was a project started from Stomach Book and Chloe Delta 90 is the Twitter handle on that. And the song "I Spat Blood at God" was the lead single. So
yes,
you kind of get that listen. You technically have covered them before with the "Now This Is Dominic" compilation, which will not be ever called anything else but that.
It was, well, now that's what I call Dominic, I thought.
I was "Now This Is Dominic" Volume 1, but it should be called "Now This Is What I Call Dominic." That is correct. Yeah, and we kind of didn't know what was happening. We didn't get much, and then it's kind of been announced that it's a solo project now. It is just the other members, so Stomach Book is kind of considered as a feature artist on that song.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, and the one thing I just didn't fully expect is that we just got a full chiptune album, basically.
Well, it's worth mentioning that on Bandcamp, if you look at the EP, it just the description just says demos and ideas.
Yeah.
So I mean, also, yeah, they're from Belgium, which is interesting, apparently.
Second Belgian band we've talked about today, or person at least.
But it's like the thing to really think about is that I Sweat What I Got is the only one with like actual vocals.
Yeah.
Curious if that was something that was the intention.
Probably the most. Yeah. It's such a weird kind of just different change that we kind of got on this, and the description on Spotify is make fifth wave emo, and I wouldn't even call this fifth wave emo at some point, but I feel like it's a broad term anyway. On this, and it was almost like we just got an angstier sounding early Anamanaguchi on this.
Yeah.
Which, put this all like thing aside now and put all the context. It's give the album a listen, and I guess it's more of an EP anyway. And it's better I feel like to treat it as an EP, even though it's got an intro and stuff like that, because I Spat Blood at God just doesn't fit with the sound that everything else is on in here. I think it's the highlight of everything because it's the most complete song. I think there is still some kind of good sounds that are going on in here. This is definitely not a failed project or anything like that. It is the most jarring thing about it. Yeah, is basically like getting hyped as we were, going like, okay, well, here's Stomach Book. We're getting some more Stomach Book stuff in a collaboration. It's interesting, and then basically that getting thrown away and turned into what this is.
I know you hate.
It's a very jarring kind of shock. Is what I'm just trying to say. I'm not hating anything.
I know you hate needless speculation, but I do think the question should be asked: was maybe the intention that there would be more vocals, and then that didn't happen?
I feel like that is like, it's a needless speculation, but we're just going to announce that we are just speculating, and this is not actually what's happened. That does sound possible, having listened to it.
I think because that's what's missing. I think from at least some of these tracks, I'm expecting vocals at some point.
Yeah.
And the tracks are fine without them, but I don't have notes, right? So this is one of those EPs where I can't really super tell you anything about them, except for I remember I Spat Blood at God pretty well because we've heard that a few times now, and I believe this is a new mix for it too.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, that's kind of the one takeaway I had was like, there should be vocals, but there's not.
Yeah.
And
now maybe do get to.
There's a finish. Maybe that is why it is labeled demos and ideas.
Now you do get to tie this up to your favorite thing to tie things up, don't you, Dominic?
Yes. The last track, "Kom Susutad," "Kom Sigle," I don't know how to pronounce the last part. but Come Susatada is very famously a famous song from Neon Genesis Evangelion as part of like fifth wave and everything. Evangelion gets crops up here and there, but very rarely do we actually get the song title reference, and Come Susatada, of course, is a banger. Hugely important to the end of Evangelion. And everyone that's like my age or younger that has seen it and is like in this scene, I'm sure there's a fucking inspiration there. Like fucking Postcard Nowhere references Evangelion all the time. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah. Maybe during our break, I will finally watch some Evangelion.
I mean, you should.
Yeah.
It's a great show. It's my favorite anime. I don't even watch that much anime anymore, but like that's the one show I'm like, God, what a fucking ride.
It's a case of I have picked this as the sake of what you love to do, Dominic. It is tie things up. I think this was basically the entry to the cycle, even if it's not covered on the podcast. I'm actually going to look into my 2023 shortlist right now and just look at the date added. And this is, God, it's going to be that hard. I'm going to just try and bloody find it. I think this will be in like my first 50 songs of what is a near 2.4 thousand song set list. Track list. So,
damn.
I'm just gonna fucking find it here. What time was it added? I am just padding for time here. I am so good at doing that.
It's interesting looking at the single for Ice Path Blood at God, and that, you know, it's more simple and direct, but it does remind me of like a Home is Where style song.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have put it on basically when it came out, but I think I've had a fuck up because it's apparently March, but I've listened to it before March. So yes, this would have been in the first 40 songs that I've added.
Sure.
Wow.
And if you look
basically like the start.
If you look at the breakdown too, Stomach Book did do some bass and did the album art for Ice Path Blood of God, so the work was a little more equal between the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
it's a tying up of the loose ends. I think unfortunately it is still only just what we got, and whilst it's cool to see some of these ideas and what the album has turned into over this kind of change and year, because it came out. When did it come out? It didn't come out that long ago.
August.
So, yeah, it's also been a bit. In the case of that, it's like it's kind of just interesting to kind of hear just the different sound that we got on here, even if it doesn't stand out as much as the previous sound kind of did.
Yeah. I forgot it came out, honestly.
I think it came out after our fifth wave draft, else I think it would have been picked up.
100% it came out after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember thinking like, oh man, we're covering everybody except Stomach Book. We kind of did it during the compilation episode, but like having this now at least adds that closure to. We've pretty much covered every act that we like and have appreciated over the course of this year for Fifth Wave emo.
Yeah.
LP2 is on the way for Stomach Book.
Yes. Exciting.
Yes. I think maybe the only artist we haven't really covered in that scene is Glass Beach.
Yeah, that's right.
LP2 is coming out as well. There's gonna be a big 2024.
2024 is gonna be fucking wild.
Yeah.
I can tell you safely right now, I have been listening to that Glass Beach single. After this episode is done, I'm sending you both some singles without albums this year to listen to the consideration.
All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing, like, this has been an interesting year itself, but next year is gonna be on the level of 2021, 2022, perhaps.
Yeah. Like, I know Dominic and I are excited for the new Green Day album.
And that's like the tip of the iceberg.
I'm here.
Yeah.
favorite is obviously I Spat Blood God. I don't really even have a least favorite. I think the rest of it is so just different that it's like two different things we're talking about. So I guess I have to say my favorite from everything else of that is the Evangelion title track. I don't really have a least favorite because it's all just the rest is kind of just like blendery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all kind of blendery. Like I said, Blood of God's the one I remember, obviously. But I mean, it's fine for what it is. But it does feel like demos in a way. There's
Yes.
ideas, there's stuff happening, but we have not seen what Death Do Us Apart is yet.
We have not. I will also agree. Spat Blood at God is my favorite, and the rest is blendery.
I do like the album art though.
Oh,
Yes.
album art's pretty cute. So, I think if we're going to end this episode, which is going to be our last proper covering of albums from everyone this year, we have to end it on what we are, and that's on Fifth Wave Emo, which means we are going to talk about, and I think this is probably the best thing you could have picked, Dominic, because, or this the next best thing you could have picked would have been Pet Sounds, because we've heard it a lot from, there is a belief that some fifth wave emo artists have, and it's not just that, but it's a very controversial take, but it's also got some point to it, was that Pet Sounds was the first ever emo album.
Interesting.
I could see that.
I mean,
so kind of Beach Boys is a bit of a tie-up. I think that is unintentional from you, but that is a fantastic thing. Anyway,
well,
introduce them.
The thing to mention, of course, is that the Beach Boys is like one of the seminal '60s acts, kind of from like California, I believe.
Yes.
Brian Wilson, genius to some, terror to others.
Yes, not our first time covering Brian Wilson, technically.
What else do we do?
Our first episode, he features, he worked on a song on
Dirty Computer. Yeah, the intro song. Wow.
Yeah.
What a tie-up.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the Beach Boys' discography, they released many albums. They released a lot of stuff. The Smile sessions are somewhere in the middle. This is the album right after Pet Sounds. And Smile was supposed to be this magnanimous album that Brian Wilson was kind of leading. A lot of money was being spent. A lot of weird and like out there sounds and ideas were being recorded.
Yes.
And I was planning to have like a whole like thing written up to talk about it in greater depth, but essentially he didn't finish the album. They decided to, maybe it was more from the record, kind of just take what they had and just release an album and just get on with it. And then they kind of went to other stuff after that, but Smile kind of became this white whale of sorts. And so we have Smiley Smile, which is the album they eventually put out, which is, a Beach Boys album. And then in 2004, Brian Wilson released what his intended version of Smile supposedly was supposed to be. And this is, and that was an album that meant a lot, and kind of opening that door was a huge thing for him, because we can go into his later life at a different time, perhaps, of like the stuff that happened to him. But
there was a whole movie.
Yeah, Love and Mercy. It's an interesting movie.
Yes.
But
I have never seen it, but I lived in a house with the poster on the wall for a couple of years.
So then, Smile is kind of supposed to be the idea of like, this is what it was meant to be. Had there been time, had there been the ability to put so much material on vinyl in the 60s.
Yes.
Ritz, you had a take that shocked me this week.
Yeah, so apologies. Am I sounding robotic at the moment, or
you're fine?
Fine. Cool. It's just a bit of lag coming from you two at the moment on my side. On that, I do have a take. I think I've looked at the reviews that came out on this, which I like to look at. Sometimes the Smiley Smile, which is obviously a near 60-year-old album at this point. Holy fuck! Yeah. And it got a lot of negative reviews on release. A lot of people were expecting Pet Sounds. And I then saw that everybody's come to praise this album and say it's really good. And there's one thing that I agree on the praise. I think this is a very perfect calm down album. I think that is a unintended highlight to this album that is very fair. But I think it's a pretty boring record to kind of go back to sober. It is not really got much going for it. But then I listened to the Brian Wilson version, and it was just basically the same but longer, and somehow didn't have that same type of chillness. It was just kind of very boring, to be honest. It felt like an absolute slog. At least the Smiley Smile is like, there's not much I care about here, but it's an album that comes and went. The Brian Wilson version just fucking slogged. I don't care if I get crucified for hurting the fifth wave emo's gods, apparently, but that's my fucking take.
I agree.
I disagree. I think Smiley Smile very much seems like a random mix of stuff. And like it's interesting going back to it, and that you can hear the DIY scene that is around now. You can hear where Kevin Barnes got inspiration. You can hear where a bunch of other artists got inspiration. Stuff like Fall Breaks and Back to Winter being this weird kind of just rise and fall thing is interesting, right? But hearing like the sequencing of like the Brian Wilson version and understanding how, maybe not perfectly, but how it was supposed to go, it made sense to me in a way that Smiley Smile just feels like a random compilation of stuff. There's no flow to it, there's no sequence to it, there's just songs. But like the Brian Wilson version, there's motifs, there's like ideas being expressed. The way he kind of circles back around to like prayers and like nursery rhymes and things, it's a thing you can like pick up on and pay attention to, and kind of like the songs don't even really have full starts and stops. Other parts of songs kind of reference other parts of songs to the point that it's kind of all mixed together. And like a song like Surf's Up being like this really downbeat kind of version of what you expect, you know, the Beach Boys Surfing USA type thing to be, is super interesting to me. And the opening Our Prayer being like this really interesting choral element to it. I don't know, there's just so much happening that like the build up, and having like Mrs. O'Leary's cow be like the real version of Fall Breaks and Back to Winter, you kind of understand in context what that part was supposed to be from. Just kind of it all flowing together, and then you get Good Vibrations, the classic track, as the final thing. That really hits. Having Good Vibrations in the middle of the album does not hit as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Good Vibrations is not the middle of the album, but you know what? I'll say it. I don't really care about Good Vibrations. There are some really good Beach Boys songs, but they're on Pet Sounds, to be honest. I don't even mind Surfing USA, but Wouldn't It Be Nice has a very similar vibe to Good Vibrations, and Wouldn't It Be Nice is just so much better. It's so much catchier. It feels somehow less cheesier as well. I think, and this is the 60s, so you know a lot of those songs that got popular do have that bit of cheese. And don't get me wrong, the Beach Boys, like Pet Sounds, wasn't just a good album because it was catchy. It genuinely did do some quite more experimental sounds in the genre for that time. But I mean, it's all blown away by God Only Knows anyway. That is their best fucking song.
Yeah,
sure.
And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wait, shit, I was supposed to be talking about Smile. And then it's like, well, yeah, I just don't care about Smile. It's an album that seems to have had a very interesting path of creation. I think people, I could be wrong. I'll do my speculation of the year. I think everybody who's decided that they suddenly love this album all this time, get off from being contrarians.
Entirely possible.
Let me get my speculation out for the year. This album freaked out a lot of stoners back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
I can imagine that. I think it's interesting seeing. I granted I don't have the biggest Beach Boys knowledge in the world, So it might be very commonplace that a song like Heroes and Villains has so many parts and so many like starts and stops that it reminds me of like Kevin Barnes doing skeletal lamping or something.
Yeah.
And like that itself I think is interesting, and like the seeing like a proto version of what that could be. And I think Heroes and Villains kind of suffers from the parts are so disparate. And it's like, why are they even the same song? I mean, I guess one's the hero version, one's the villain version. Sure, or whatever. But they sound like just two songs smashed together sometimes.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
When did the Smile Sessions album come out? Because we didn't cover that. We just covered the two things. But I swear there's like a shit ton of them.
Yes.
There's 40 songs on the Smile Sessions.
Well, the Smile Sessions, that's like a huge fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because there's the box set, which has every demo, every fucking take.
Like I respect what the Beach Boys have done.
That came out in 2011.
Just for music in general, I think there are a lot of. I know they're basically in England around this time. I think it might be actually a bit different. I can't remember exactly when all the dates tie up because I wasn't born there. But from England you had the Beatles, and from the United States you had the Beach Boys. These are basically the two bands of the 60s that are shaping the future of rock.
Yeah, and shaping each other in a way. I mean, the Beatles had Back in the USSR.
Yes. And I appreciate what they've done. I appreciate that this album has basically unintentionally become a fantastic record to help people come down from bad trips. I think that is such a cool little. I think that fact alone is more interesting than the album.
Smiley Smile in my back pocket for that.
I'm curious what it is about it that makes it such a come down album.
It is because I feel like in this case it is just this case of it is very, very chill, and I do not disagree with people who have been saying that. I think that is the highlight. Is that yes, this is a really chill album, but I don't just like albums when they are chill. I like it when there's all these little things that I can focus on and stuff like that, and that's what I like. And that's probably what makes it a come down, I think, as well, is that there's not so much to focus on in there. It is just very relaxing. So people might not get like freaked out by focusing on certain things, but I guess focusing can also help you. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical expert.
While we're on this topic,
I'll just say the reason that I hate Smile more, the Brian Wilson one, it feels like it just even removes that, and it's just it is. I don't know. It's just boring. I hate using that word because it feels like it's so much better you could use to explain albums, but I really only have one word for it, and it's boring.
What would be the worst come down album?
Give it up for the Nookie. Come on, the Nookie. Come on, so you can get back.
What
about? Yeah, I'm thinking like a Captain Beefheart, or maybe even like a Sun, the ambient metal band.
Yeah, like I feel like ambient metal would be something that would at least ride you along.
Well, this is basically they just turn their amps on and crank the gain and they don't play, and it's just like the crackle and the static of the old amps and the guitars, and like the hum of the lights through the pickups.
Sure.
So what album are you listening to calm down? This is an album called Van by Clowncore.
No, I would have to listen to Toilet by Clowncore to calm down myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many times you two have teased
Clowncore? We need to cover Clowncore.
Van was such an just unexpected great album.
Oh, it was. But the peak Clowncore moment for me is when I got introduced to them with Toilet, I think it was the song, where he pulls his dick out and puts it on the keyboard.
Great times. I'm just using the blended term for both of my favorites and least favorites. It's just easier. I could say my favorite is Good Vibrations, but I'm not even vibing with that song.
I like Good Vibrations. Good Vibrations is my favorite.
I think it's little pad that opens with them like laughing over the over the take, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that little bit of weirdness and like the DIY aspect of it. I mean, Good Vibrations is a song so that's kind of fun. I do like the ambition of something like Heroes and Villains. My least favorite's probably like Fall Breaks and Back to Winter or something like that. Maybe like Getting Hungry. The Brian Wilson version I do like more because I do think there's coherence there. I do think there's something out of the madness and like the chaos of Smiley Smile, as chill out as it is. It's being sewn together finally. So I think from
Yeah.
Smile, I appreciate like the Our Prayer. I appreciate Roll Plymouth Rock. Surf's Up. I'm really into Mrs. O'Leary's Cow. Like Good Vibrations is fine. I think my least favorite on that one is something like I don't know, Cabin Essence or like Song for Children.
All right, it's time to cap off this year. I think Dominic, you've announced that this won't be the last thing that we take this year, though, will it?
I mean, it all depends on whether you two are willing to cover one last thing, but
we definitely will be one
Yeah.
last thing. But in the sake of all of us picking albums, this is the last one that we are covering for the year, and I'm going to introduce it because Awake But Still in Bed. They put out their debut album, fronted by Shannon Taylor, I believe is the name. We put out their debut album. What people call low self-esteem is really just seeing yourself the way that other people see you in 2018. I discovered that album personally a couple weeks after it came out. I think it came out in something like January. I think I discovered it in February. I think it came out in February and March. One or two. I was very unsure on whether to like it because it was very angsty in a way I wasn't quite sure if I was ready to admit I liked back then. And then a couple months later, I was full on screaming, I couldn't get my life back. So it ended up having Life be my 34th best song of the year and Saved be my 26th favorite song of the year. I ended up having the album as like number 15 or number 16. What was it? Number 16 favorite album of the year. Back then, I didn't really have any consideration to Fifth Wave Emo. Surprisingly, it was a bit more into it than I thought I was because I was also listening to Chinese football that year as well. So I kind of a bit of a tie up with two bands from that year, kind of actually finally putting out something else. And throughout this kind of time, it's a lot of people have considered that album to be the start of Fifth Wave Emo. Whether or not it is a different topic, but it is still considered by quite a lot to be, this is the first Fifth Wave album, and it's really where the scene's kind of started, and now we got all the artists that we do here. And we've covered quite a lot. I know we've mostly got this into this in 2021, so we've not been there since the start, but I think we have still kind of had this all in consideration. So there was some other artists that I know put out albums, blah, 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 during this whole time period. To decide. During that time, we hadn't had much else from Awake But Still in Bed. It actually didn't get another release from them until December 2020. So a full 2 years of just silence. And then we got the EP again last year in 2022. This
split.
year, it was a split as well, yes. This year, on August 15th, we finally got the new taste of the new Awake But Still in Bed album. 5 years in the making. 5 years and like 7 months or 9 months. An insane amount of time between drinks on this one. I've always had plans to cover this record. It just needed to find the time, and then we don't have time. so we're covering it anyway. It is Chaos Takes the Wheel and I Am a Passenger. That is the introduction and the hype I can do, even though it's probably not album of the week because one of it's just one else that we picked is just won it. But regardless, here we are.
Okay, here might be my actual hot take of the episode. This is probably my least favorite of the week.
This is the part where I wish I had notes more because I listened to this a couple times, but I didn't absorb it very well. I think I had the similar thoughts about the original album, but this I feel more so. There were moments that I noticed, like I think something like Adapt kind of broke through a little bit, but aside from a few moments here and there,
I can safely say that whilst it is a bit hard to kind of go through what is quite a lot of music, this is like an hour long.
Yeah, a lot of these songs are too long.
It's not in the sake of like underscores, which is very similar time, so I guess I can't really do it in here. There are some moments in which we're going, okay, this is what we're going in. Yeah, there's some pretty overdrawn moments on this. But there are, just comparing it to the last album, some much more mature songwriting in the kind of structures that song happen in here. I think there are some very similar structures that go around the song, surprisingly, on here. But once you've given it enough time, which I have because I've listened to a lot of the songs, they somehow do find a way to get stuck in your head. And whilst this is not my album of the year, I think I have some very similar takes. I think there are some moments that can be worked on here. Questioning about whether or not this was better than the last album as well is something that's really going to have a consideration. Some of the songs on here are my favorite songs of the year. Like, Far is a 3-minute, just very simple track, but holy fuck, that just got stuck in my head. It might have to just take getting a proper listen to it. I'm going to accuse you two of not having a proper listen to it. I guess in that same sentence there.
I will go ahead and take that accusation. I think it's fair.
Yeah, me too.
It is an incredibly catchy song that has some pretty, like, I mean, I say fun lyrics, but it's just really fun to shout along to. If we drive far enough, our lives not fall apart. Are we fast enough to outrun who we are? Cause I can't hear my own thoughts above the stereo, and I can see the world beyond the road. It's like that fucking both of those choruses. Every time it plays, I'm probably going to annoy my partner by screaming it as loud as I can, and it will just wake up the neighbors. Don't care. Fucking
hell
great
yeah.
line to sing along to.
Fuck the neighbors.
Fuck the neighbors.
Let the neighbors fuck.
God, they do both. My neighbors both do that. Yeah, my neighbors go from like fighting to fucking within like 30 seconds.
That's why I'm gonna scream it.
I mean, like the beginning of Bloodline does stand out to me. Do the people I care about me, or do they see what I see? I know Airport had some moments that I was into sonically, but I need to.
I think lyrically that Airport is one of the more important ones in here as well. She talks about basically the last line is I told my past to a stranger on an airplane.
It felt like
I couldn't relate to the person I was before. It's like it's kind of very interesting. It's like this whole reflection song that happened.
Yeah,
and like some of that is brought up. You know, it's been years since I blacked out at school and I woke up in a drunken adolescent haze in a hospital bed. You're sitting in the back with your eyes heavy through the fog in my head, and to this day I'm in that bed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's interesting stuff. There are stories being told obliquely.
Yeah,
I think are worth maybe
maybe this is an album that probably would have been better to tackle earlier in the year, so we have that more time to properly process. But there are genuinely great moments in this. I love the chorus and Red Light as well. That I'm done going in cycles, speeding towards the red light kind of thing. I know it's very. I don't think that's really a kind of line that's unique to them. You can hear a lot of songs that always talk about how like they're going reckless by speeding in their cars, or doing stuff. I mean, one of my favorite songs of 2016 was Pop's DVP, and that line is doing a 180 on the Don Valley Parkway.
Yep.
I need to,
but it still hits quite a lot. I mean, there is supposed to be quite a concept, I guess, here of kind of like losing control, I guess, in the car or something. Like, you know, the whole album art is a car on fire in the middle of a road.
Car crash in D major.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the title is and the lyric from the last song is chaos takes the wheel and I'm a passenger. And then you hear in songs like Far, it's like driving far enough. You know, songs like Road, Clear View, Red Light. You know, there's quite a lot of that kind of topic that goes around in this album. That is what the kind of conceptual thing that's going. It's not conceptual in a way like the Wailer is, but it's more in a case of like Genesis of Rooster's Smiling Motif, which talks which mentions the black dog, right? Or even Struggling, which talks about Roach a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found my favorite lyrics about speeding down the road real fast.
I'm starting to realize why it's getting robotic. I think it's going to storm here tonight.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Yeah, it is. That's going to be fun.
Good luck.
Good Things Part 2.
Who can remember speeding down the street when the red lights flash? Need to get away. Need to make a dash. A song comes on that reminds me of you, and I jizz in my pants.
Hell yeah! Music peaked.
It did. I need to cover the Popstar movie at some point. Apparently, it's one of the funniest movies ever made.
There are two peaks in music. There was the first Lonely Island album, and then you can draw a line all the way to Chaos Takes the Wheel and I'm a Passenger. That is one era of music.
Yeah.
One era of music.
I definitely would never go as far as Trix in saying this is worst album of the week. I definitely have my take on that.
No,
this is a great album in its own way.
I just did not gel with it, I guess.
It is beaten by a better album. But this is still, in my opinion, like a really good sum up of, even if it's not the best emo album even of this year. I know it's a hard thing to beat. Even if I've probably got some other ones I like. I think this is a real great new take with awakebutstillinbed. I'm noticing Shannon's vocals also sound more confident on this.
Yeah,
I feel like there's it's a little bit of change in just how the notes are hit. It feels like slightly different, but you go back to songs like Fathers and then go into like Far, and it just feels more confident on it and it works better. I think the biggest problem with this album is that it does get overblown and not for the best way. Like, you know, it's always the indie heads habit to go longest song, that's my favorite. But I think songs like Road actually really kind of suffer from its length. I think awakebutstillinbed have always been a better band when they've been able to really put in not short songs, but kind of just well structured or just like kind of. I mean, the reason why I like Saved quite a lot is that it felt like a really organic song. It didn't feel like it was being overblown. It felt like it was just doing exactly what needed to be done. The instrumentation felt very clean for how kind of like near scrappy it felt. It was kind of weird to explain. And that's where I think they're at the highlights here. And then when you get these longer songs, they just feel overblown, and I don't feel like they do them right. I think that's the big flaw on this album. But everything else, I think it is a continuation and better from low self-esteem, what people call low self-esteem.
I think opening the album with the two longest songs in this case makes it harder to get into it.
I agree. I think this album could start at Far.
Yeah.
It's like I took my notes from last week late, of course. And the thing that struck me about the Tennis album that we listened to was that there was one song that was so different from the others, One Night with the Valet, because that was like a way shorter song. And there was two songs that mentioned a valet that weren't quite back to back, but were like there was like a song in the middle of them, and it felt weird. And it hit me like that song should just start the album. Like it's a simple, short, shorter than everything else. It's a prelude, right? And I think that and these two albums there's a story of like how to sequence, and there's things to learn of like, hey, there may be an important reason why you're putting the two longer songs first, but it does not working quite as well here for me. Or hey, that one really catchy song they released as a single. I know you're probably putting it in the middle of the album because you think it belongs there, but actually, if you listen to the songs and notice that they're all 3 to 4 minutes, and this one is not, and it's near another song that has a similar title, maybe put it toward the beginning. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with some of the criticisms. I think maybe the track listing is and the first two songs are a bit out there, but I think there is still quite a lot to divulge into this album. I'm not as hyped on it as everyone else in the major players in the scene seem to be. Some
Donna
are
put it
calling
in
it
her
the album.
top 15.
Yeah. I think it's still quite a good experience. It is definitely. I wouldn't even call this a sophomore slump. I think it is on the same level as low self-esteem, but it just has it has different reasons to like it. Like if the trying to find the best way to explain it. I think the songs that are great on this are much better than the songs that are great on low self-esteem, and I think it has some bigger highlights. I guess low self-esteem might be a bit more consistent, but it also probably doesn't experiment with its writing structure as much as this album does.
It's the thing of, it took 5 years, right?
Yeah.
It's
And I wouldn't have spent all that 5 years, obviously, making the album, but, in the sense of, as a listener, it took 5 years.
right. And so to me, I mean, yes, it is the sophomore album, but this is more of a catch up for me of like, what is Awake But Still in Bed in the modern landscape of fifth wave emo?
Mm.
Because like,
Yeah.
as we mentioned, it is considered by some to be the beginning. And I would say, maybe there was some stuff in 2017 you could point to that was kind of like the very first rumblings of it, even before this.
And then obviously we've learned about Hekra this year, which is considered proto fifth wave.
Right. Right. And so like, if this is accepted to be like one of the genesis points, it has evolved so much since then.
Mm.
It is important that this album that's come out now, if it even retains the quality of the first one, that's important because for all intents and purposes, like it's the thing of you kind of started something, but that doesn't mean that's what you're intentionally doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee that like you're even interested in like keeping up with it. It's like the 100 Gex thing, right? If like you kind of popularized hyperpop, but it kind of depends on like what are you doing after that?
Yeah.
Are you trying to establish that, or are you trying to do something more? I think the difference here is that Awake with Still in Bed is trying to establish it and do more with it and embrace it.
Mm.
And I think that is an important. Both options are important because other Gex trying to go beyond and do their own thing is, as a fan, very interesting, and there's limitless possibilities there. But this is also interesting because there's a lot to take in. There's a lot to use to refine your sound, to take other ideas that have come and mash them with yours.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know.
Favorites, Far, Airport, Red Light, Adapt, Passenger. Like I said, highlights are great on this. Least favorite is Road.
It's a blender for me.
Yeah. From what I can say of it, I think Adapt and Airport are my favorites. My least favorite's probably something like Road as well.
I think it's a bit of our most disagree on this one because I think I appreciate this album a lot more than you two have, but that is how it goes sometimes. I am going to do the rarity, and I'm by rarity I mean probably actually the common thing, and I'm going to start off the ranking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Least favorite is Brian Wilson's Smile. Just next one is going to probably actually be Probably gonna be Death Do Us Apart, Outside is Colder Than It Looks, and then Beach Boys Smiley Smile. I think that's just kind of where I had to put them. I think these three are just kind of all in a different section. After that, I kind of had to be realistic and go, that's where Awake But Still in Bed goes. Because I think when we think about it in an album context, PetroDragonic is better.
Yeah.
So Awake is number 3, King Gizz is number 2. I mean, it's probably going to be a universal this week. It's going to be Wallsocket at number 1. That's just... That manages to get variety and consistency. That's... There you go.
It's impressive.
So
I'll go next.
Go ahead, Trix.
Least favorite for me is going to be Chaos Takes the Wheel and I'm But a Passenger. And it's not that I don't like the album. It's just that it's my least favorite of the week. My second least, or second to bottom, we're going to go Smile, then Smiley Smile, then Outside is Colder Than It Looks, then PetroDragonic Apocalypse, and then number 1 is going to be Wallsocket for me.
It seems like we all have a general similar theme. It's just the exact placements are a little bit different. For me, my least favorite's Outside is Colder Than It Looks. It's just the most underdeveloped so far, and like there's interest there, but even my second least favorite, Smiley Smile, there is more of an evolution there. There's more meat to the bone. I still won't think my opinion is fully formed yet about Chaos Takes the Wheel, so I will put that next with the caveat that it could. Dear God, what is happening?
It's just fate being open door.
But yes, Chaos Takes the Wheel. There could be developments on that down the road. After that, PetroDragonic. Oh well, we'll do Smile, then PetroDragonic, then Wallsocket. I think Smile is better than you two are giving it credit for.
It is not. But Wallsocket is a universal number 1, which means I once again end with a universal number 1.
Hell yeah.
How much do I get paid?
No money.
Fuck.
It sounds like a shotgun cock.
I know that was actually funny timing. But that was just can't. Don't worry. There was no guns in this house. Australia is good at having gun control.
All right.
Yep.
So next week is going to be our wrap-up week, and that'll be the last recording of the year.
Yes, you suggested one album. I want to just point out for everyone listening, which will probably just be the artists that we picked, but for all the artists that we picked listening, me and Trix don't know what he's on about. We
do not.
have our ideas of what it could be. I think Trix has suggested. I think Trix, you suggested it could be a Ritalin for Kids album. Whoever that mysterious artist is. Seeing something that came out, it could be Captain Jazz. That was not Captain Jazz. It was Captain Jazz is one that I have in mind. I could be right if I am. We genuinely do not know.
We do not.
Because
we just have ideas.
Looking over the year.
Anyway, Dominic.
Looking over the year, there stuck out to me one album that I think we should have covered, because it is talking about tying up loose ends. It is the continuation of a story that we've been following for the couple of years now, relating to, I think, some of our favorite albums of previous years. And I think that, there are reasons why we probably haven't covered it, and I understand those, but I think the story that it exists now from what this album is at least worth talking about. And, of course, I'm talking about Live at Bush Hall from My Country New Road.
All right.
That is... I'm just shocked that we haven't actually done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
especially since I'm seeing Black Country New Road next to you.
That seems like something like I picked the deluxe of Ants from Up There early in the year as a joke.
Yes.
But then we never followed up and did it for real.
Yeah.
So that's I think we should do that as because I'm sure Ritz, you've already done you ranked it and whatnot.
I haven't given it too much listens this year. Admittedly, I have listened to it in full before, though. I'm not gonna act like that is not the case. I wouldn't mind giving it a re-listen before my rankings and having an excuse to do so. Specifically, since one thing I have liked in my rankings is live stuff. So, with this being a bunch of fresh content, it would be very interesting to see. I am just shocked that we went this year without you picking a single Ritalin for Kids project.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I had planned on doing it, but
you had planned on doing one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously not going to get picked. We're not going to do any side swiping or anything like that. I think when we got a full thing of rankings to do next week, which is probably going to be one of our toughest years to rank. I think it's good to just have one album and let the rest all be about ranking. So let's all agree now before I say anything else. There will be no side swiping and hidden editions of Ritalin for Kids albums.
Yes.
No additional Ritalin for Kids albums being covered. No additional Bread songs being covered. As much as I think that'd be fun to do, but the one album.
Yes.
Should we reveal our kind of what we have planned to do over the break now, or should we wait?
I haven't really got a proper plan for that yet, so.
All right, we'll wait.
So now that that's all been agreed on and can't do this, and we will all get pissed off later. Dominic, what did you plan to cover?
Oh, from your stuff?
Yes.
Oh, the ambient stuff, as above, so below.
Oh, that would have been fucking annoying. Technically, that would have been picking yourself if you picked ambient project others.
It's all on the docket at some point.
That's funny. That would have been so for those unaware. For what lurks below has come above. What lurks below is 44 minutes. Has come above is 54 minutes. And ambient project others is 104 minutes. It is all ambient that I've done from absolutely slowing down, like think me shittily playing the guitar, other samples. I think there's a bit of Trix guitar in there. It is if Dominic had picked that, I would have killed him.
You can still kill me next year.
He's got another year to live.
I am a menace. I will be out there in 2024.
I'm honestly shocked that you didn't go for any of the 2023 picks.
There's plenty of time, my dear.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to say, whilst we're here, because I'm ignoring all of my shit from the rankings. I did promise that I would spend more time playing the instruments this year on the podcast. That was a lie.
Yeah.
But my favorite out of all these things I created was the Sickness EP that I put out, where I was sick with a cold. I thought it was COVID, but the test came back negative. I let these songs be I'm not to say all the fucking titles on there, but I made a 20-minute EP when I was sick one day, and that was just funny. It's so lo-fi.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm sure we will all love to hear it when we cover it next year.
Yeah,
yes.
There is. It's the last thing we do before we wrap this up, but this is how many 2023 releases I did. This is what Dominic could have picked. I had the Acid Breakfast mixtape, 35-minute song. I had Acid Reflux Breakfast, which was all the songs that didn't go on that. That was 62-minute song. Basic Sounds Volume 1, my Cameron X satire, 8-minute song. The Beats EP, only 9-minute song. Fuckalypsis. That was me getting the Guitar Hero, so the Rock Band 3 keyboard guitar controller, plugging it into a bass machine and playing that for 20 minutes. It's actually only 18 minutes that long, but that's how long that is. Grocery Store Shop. That's another 20-minute EP. There is a condensed mixtape playlist. I'm doing this all in alphabetical order, by the way, which had mixtures of everything in there, which Dominic could have easily have picked to do the lazy option. 38-minute song. Raw XD, I Hate You Dinosaur, and Raw XD, I Love You Dinosaur, both 12-minute song each.
Your Depart and Return EPs.
Yeah, it's the same sound on both of them, but one of them does include the Meet Me One Day at the podcast remix. The Ritz mixtape, 55-minute song. The self-titled mixtape, 52-minute song. Shitpost City, which is like the non-mixtape one. It was actually like a little album that I planned to make. 36-minute song. Sickness EP, 20-minute song. Some Drum and Some Bass, 44-minute song. The Song for Nige HD Remaster, 19-minute song. The Untitled Mixtape, 11th of April, 35-minute song. Untitled Mixtape, 12th of May, 35-minute song. And Untitled Mixtape, 30th of January, 30-minute song. That is how much shit I got bored and made this year, and some reason Dominic picked me slamming a desk instead.
You sound offended.
Yeah.
A little. Anyway, next week, yeah, last Dissonant Waves of the year. Until then, I have been Ritalin. You can apparently catch me on Bandcamp. I also have a YouTube. They will be in the description below with my website, Ritalin for Kids, at github.io.
I have been Trix. You can catch me online on Twitter, X, whatever the fuck. I am extremely tired. It's 4 a.m. over here. Check out our merch, buy our clock, buy our puzzle.
I'm Dominic. You can catch me online at DACICHOCKI on Twitter. On my YouTube, if you must, go there. Sometimes on the Games My Mom Found podcast. We'll be doing Kingdom Hearts shit over the break, so I'm not done podcasting really this year yet. And of course, to reiterate, we are doing our rankings minisode next week. We are also, for the sake of it, covering Black Country New Roads live at Bush Hall to wrap things up. And
you will basically have seen all of my takes of the year, like, already, because by the time this episode's out, like, my albums of the year, songs of the year list have probably all been out and published. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That'll do it for us. Have a great time, everybody. Whatever you're doing, have happy Yuletides and holidays and givings of peace and love and mercy and all that fun shit.
Eat a lot of ham unless you're Jewish.
Or, like, just what's the other one? It's
Muslim.
God, thank you. I'm so fucking offensive today.
Yes.
Bye.